Today, more than 100 flood warnings in place across Britain as the second day of Storm Bert takes hold. A major incident is declared in South Wales. Residents of Pontypridd are flooded out of their homes. The same thing happened to them 4 years ago. Storm Bert has continued to wreak havoc on parts of Britain for a second day, with residents in South Wales once again flooded out of their homes after being severely hit by flooding 4 years ago. Yellow weather warnings for wind are still in place in many areas across the UK, and there have been gusts of up to 76 miles per hour in Somerset today. Wales has been particularly badly hit. Police searching for a dog walker who went missing have found a body. There are over 50 flood warnings in place. In Pontypridd, a major incident has been declared after the River Taff burst its banks. Well, let's go live to our correspondent Dan Johnson, who's in Pontypridd for us now. Dan.
Yes, this is the River Taff, which is still high. The water levels across South Wales are high. The rainfall is still heavy. There have been high winds. It's causing all sorts of issues out on the roads and to people's homes. They reckon up to 300 homes across South Wales have been flooded. That is why the emergency services this morning declared a major incident. There are still many emergency teams out trying to help people avoid that flooding or be rescued from it and to keep people safe out on the roads. In North Wales, a 75-year-old Brian Perry, who was reported missing in the River Conwy yesterday, they have found a body in that search. So these floods, this storm, are claiming lives and putting others at risk. And this river is still a raging torrent tonight. Across South Wales, water levels are high, rivers have burst their banks and homes are flooded, bringing misery for people who've in many cases been hit for a second time.
Didn't have enough time to move the van, move my wife's car. But by the time I got back, it went from the foot to the metre, and I only took it around the corner, so within 5 minutes it went shoof, gone up the metre.
What time was this?
This was at 9:05.
Paul has lived by the River Taff in Pontypridd for more than 20 years. It's the second time in 4 years her home's been underwater.
Because their belief is that because they've got flood defences in place, that the flood defences work. But as you've probably seen yourself, the flood defences don't work.
This is the desperate effort to try to stop the river water getting back into these houses. At the moment, they are winning, but the fear is the river level will rise further because the rain keeps coming down. In parts of Wales, a month's worth of rain has fallen over the last 24 hours. It's been a very busy time for the emergency services, who declared a major incident this morning when they were inundated with calls. And listen to the local council leader's assessment of how well this rainfall and its impact were forecast.
We took the decisions ourselves to step up our resources and to have the depots open and crews in. But you know, even as bad as things were this morning, unless I've missed it, because I've been out since 5:30, and I don't know if an amber warning was issued. I certainly haven't seen it, and I'm surprised actually there wasn't a red warning, because during Storm Dennis we did see an amber warning well in advance and a red warning issued in the early hours. So I do think that'll need to be reviewed, certainly.
Some of the water from Welsh hills flows into England. This was Tenbury Wells in Worcestershire, where a wall collapsed and the river burst through. Landslides have affected a couple of roads, and coal tips are being checked to make sure they're not unstable. It's been a very difficult day for everyone here, and it's still a really nervous time for people right across the valleys. And there is huge frustration and worry for people who've been flooded time and time again. They say the flood defences that were improved after Storm Dennis 4 years ago have not worked, have not kept their homes dry. There is huge frustration and anger about how they have been hit once again, that so many rivers have burst their banks, that so many homes have been flooded. There is a risk to life, and you heard the council leader there saying he was surprised that a red warning hadn't been declared by the forecasting authorities. So it's not just people who are concerned by what they are seeing. The emergency services are stretched. They are pleading with people not to be out on the roads. There is a sense that the worst may now have passed, but it is still raining, and there is still more rainwater to come down off the hills, and as it's funneled into these valleys, it still poses a risk.
Desperately trying to hold back the water, an army of homeowners use bins and buckets to bail out the floods. These streets in Pontypridd, just some of those hit by heavy rains across South Wales as Storm Bert swept in. Residents were evacuated, some by boat, as a human chain took sandbags to try to help properties at risk. Meanwhile, a search for a man who went missing yesterday while walking his dog near the River Conwy in North Wales ended in tragedy when a body was found this afternoon. And the family of 75-year-old Brian Perry are now being supported by police. The effects of Storm Bert have been felt across the country, from Exeter to Yorkshire. One young family in Todmorden having a narrow escape from their car.
I've hit a dip and gone straight into a puddle and my car started floating, and then I saw water coming up. I tried the electric window and luckily that worked, so I wound down both of our windows, mine and Luca's. I climbed out and then got Luca out. The water was about up to chest height, so I was carrying Luca above my head.
In the Calder Valley, several main roads, including the Halifax Road through Hebden Bridge, were closed off due to high water levels. High-powered pumps sending 5,000 litres of water a minute off the roadways back into the River Calder. Many homes and businesses were flooded too. The basement of the Stubbing Wharf pub filled with water overnight.
It was up to his knees really. Then this morning we've just had to have all family friends in helping us, just trying to get everywhere clean and get the cellar clean as we can. We're due to have a lot of big parties in, we've had big functions that we've had to cancel. We've missed a lot of trade this weekend by having to be shut from dinner time yesterday through till today. And as we say, we're not sure when we're going to be back open.
Being forced to close at one of the busiest times of year is a huge blow to business. But for now, they, like others up and down the country, are just concentrating on the clean-up. Charlotte Cross, ITV News.
Storm Bert hit London today, causing widespread disruption. People were left stranded at London's airports, with around 100 flights being cancelled or delayed. Pilots have caught people's attention on social media as they've been landing planes in gale-force winds, including this pilot coming into Gatwick this morning. Well, the storm has also caused power outages across the capital, with power network engineers being called out to areas including Enfield and Wimbledon. Over in Southend, street lights could be seen flickering and the strong winds plunged this coastal road into darkness. And all 9 of London's royal parks are closed due to the extreme weather, with managers saying the safety of visitors and staff is their top priority. Outdoor events across the capital, including Christmas at Kew and Winter Wonderland, are also shut. Now, with the storm this weekend and temperatures plummeting over the last few days, farms across London have had to ramp up efforts to keep their animals safe. But with that comes soaring heating bills. Kath Opata has been to Vauxhall City Farm to see how it's been coping.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, said the sheep to the llamas. Luckily, animals like Mr. Rabbit has kind workers at Vauxhall Farm to keep him warm.
We're just keeping him inside because he's not well, so we're keeping him nice and warm inside because he's usually outside with the rabbits, but he's inside with a pen and we're giving him extra hay, extra straw and hay, and he's with his best friend Cat.
There's no denying it's set to be a cold winter. Already temperatures in London have dropped to near freezing. For the animals here, such conditions are uninhabitable. But keeping them warm this winter comes with its own challenges.
Well, naturally, the winter, every cost goes up into the heating and lighting here. But we have all the animals are bedded down, so there's extra hay, extra straw, etc., etc. But because we have to have so many volunteers, we run on about 80% of volunteers. There's only 10 full and part-time staff here. So we're at the mercy of people showing their generosity and goodwill, even as a staffing substitute.
With rising costs from dropping temperatures, farms across the capital are feeling the pinch. Some have even permanently shut and transferred the animals here so the public can carry on enjoying them.
I like this farm because of how you can feed the animals, and normal farms you can't really feed the animals, but here you can feed really most animals.
No, it's lovely. It's quite local for us, so a nice day out. Yeah, it's great. It rounds off donations. Lovely.
The love for this farm is very evident, and it's what staff here are relying on as they launch a new appeal to keep Vauxhall City Farm open forever, whatever the weather. Kath O'Patter, ITV News.
Welcome to BBC London. I'm Wendy Hurrell. Two of the capital's top winter attractions were closed today as Storm Bert continues to bring strong winds. All of the royal parks were shut, including Hyde Park, where Winter Wonderland takes place. Kew Gardens was also closed, impacting its Christmas event. Tolu Adeyo reports.
It's been more than a little bit windy at times today, with Storm Bert making its presence felt. It led to the royal parks closing all of its sites, a disappointment for visitors.
Did you know it was going to be closed?
No. I didn't even know there's a gate.
We didn't know it was closed. We just need to find another way around.
We were supposed to fly home, but our flight was cancelled to Stockholm. So we thought maybe we'll go here instead, but I guess it's closed because of the storm. This is a storm. Not so much of a storm, I'd say, but yeah.
The hugely popular Winter Wonderland at Hyde Park was called off as a result of the winds.
You can see they're quite disappointed right now, so we're going to have to try and find something else to do now. It's a bit of a shame. I didn't realise the wind would have shut the whole park down, but yeah.
Plans today were to come down, go to Winter Wonderland, have a walk round, see what, just something that we've never been to before, so we're looking forward to having a look around, and got here to find that it's closed.
Well, we've actually come in from Gran Canaria to do it. We live there, so we've come over for the weekend in London to do the Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
The Royal Park sent us a statement explaining that the closure of the parks are in line with its tree safety policy and its emergency plan relating to high winds. It says the safety of staff and visitors are top of its priorities, and it also said it apologises for any inconvenience caused.
Christmas at Kew Gardens was also called off today. Those with tickets are being advised on refunds and rebooking. There was disruption too to the Greenwich cable car and Woolwich ferry. It's thought the winds will ease later tonight, but there'll be a delayed opening at the royal parks tomorrow morning following a safety inspection. Tolu Adeoye, BBC London.